Vulture spoke with David Letterman. They wondered whether Tom Snyder was at all an inspiration for what he's trying to do with the Netflix series. Letterman talked about when he worked in local TV in Indianapolis, and he said, when I would sign off, I'd go home, and the only thing that was on then by the time I got home was The Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder. Tom was going through his Edward R. Murrow phase, where it was just Tom in a chair with a cigarette and the smoke curling up beside him, the way I remember Ed Murrow presenting himself when he would do the interviews with celebrities. It was house to house or person to person. You were there, whatever the show was. Then I had a show at the local TV station at the time, and what I was doing was exactly Tom Snyder. I was talking like him. My phraseology was the same. My eyebrow work was quite similar, and I took it very earnestly. So yeah, I've detected something there that probably went latent for quite a few decades, but in fact might be part of what we're doing now. Yeah, how about that? Because at one time, Tom subsumed my personality. If you are younger, Late Night with David Letterman actually replaced Tom Snyder's Tomorrow Show. And I don't know, how would you explain the Tomorrow Show? Like Johnny Carson would be over, and then there was just this guy having pretty good but deep conversations. It was very 12:30, 1 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. Vulture said, I think your interview style now is very much David Letterman, though. Dave said, yeah, but they talk about it in many creative endeavors. Find somebody you like or admire and just imitate them. I think that was an early building block as much as Carson or Steve Allen when it came to sitting down talking to people on TV. I would race home every night, and there at 1 a.m. would be Tom Snyder for an hour. So it made an impact on me, and I think the association, while maybe not from A to B, is certainly at the very least an indirect connection. Vulture also caught up with Colin Quinn. They talked about bombing. Colin said, I do think it's authentic. Comedy's this naked art. We have these real moments, but when you're bombing, it gets even more naked, more real. It's so funny because when I bomb, I see the comedians are laughing. They're not laughing because they're happy that their friend's bombing. Some of them maybe, but mostly they're laughing because they see your body slumped and you're just naked and you're just looking at the crowd. It realigns the whole energy, not in a good way, but it realigns the whole energy like, okay, listen, now what are we going to do? Even you don't know. The crowd doesn't know. All things that Chris DiStefano was saying in the special are all the reasons people do bomb that are not necessarily about you. Like he did go out first and they didn't have the horns and the honking for him, so there was less energy and it was still lights out. There's always a million reasons that make sense. Even some of the rationalizations, sometimes they're true. The thing that drives me crazy is comedians that go, I never bomb, or they won't admit it when they didn't do well. I understand they're trying to protect themselves in some way, but I love the inherent failure. There's always that line, every joke, it's getting a laugh because it's releasing the tension of possible bombing. Vulture also caught up with Hannibal Buress about his ADHD. Hannibal, comedy says from the beginning, sign up for an open mic and get on stage and talk. You get a reaction. Boom. You get a dopamine hit. Nice. You go chase that again. What it cost you? 4 or 5 hours? A great use of your time. I always dabbled in music and recorded music before I did stand-up, so I think about that. What would I have done? More music? It's easier to not do music. You can kind of dive into stand-up, even if it's only a couple minutes per week, 2 open mics. For the rest of the time, I'm just going to think about this and obsess on it. I really dove into stand-up when I started. I found every book I could, and I hyper-focused on it because it was rewarding, and I definitely love it, but I wish I was a little more aware of my brain chemistry so I could work around my strengths and weaknesses. If I had the awareness at 25 to say, all right, I need a business partner, a collaborator, or somebody that's just an organized person that's trustworthy, I need to figure out that part and work with them, and they handle all that stuff, and the what-ifs, and the hows, and all that, what jobs would I have taken, or what situations would I have handled better? If I knew I needed to work out because my mind is going crazy right now, I need to sweat to mellow out instead of drinking 8 Jamesons. Especially over these past few months, reflecting more on it, I definitely should not have been binge drinking at any point in my life. Definitely not with ADHD. I shouldn't have been drinking that much, but it was just me trying to quiet my brain down. I love this next part. Hannibal said, I go on the ADHD forum on Reddit, and it's funny just reading people's stuff because I relate to it. People post their struggles or successes or whatnot. And so a post on there, somebody will say, today I cleaned my room, and the comment section go, yeah, hell yeah, you did that. Or like, today I cleaned my room and I brushed my teeth twice. Woo, fire emojis and stuff. But I'll look at it and go, yeah, good job, man. Congratulations. Michelle Bateau spoke to the Daily Beast and said, what I have to do is not read the comments. You just hope you're connecting with people in the plus-size sequin suit. She has no problem brushing off the trolls who write things like, women aren't funny. And to those who said she looks like a lion, she replies, that's not a diss. She started performing stand-up just after 9/11. September 11th happened. We were working like the longest shifts. She was a news video editor for NBC News. 14, 16-hour shifts. I would edit the video. It was horrible. I mean, not as horrible as losing a loved one, but to watch it over and over, it was like, this is gross. I had a lot of nightmares for at least 2 years. My news director was like, we're going to offer therapy for anybody if you all want some. And I was like, you know what? I don't need your therapy. I'm good. I'm going to try stand-up. Why not? It was so great. I hate to be like, it saved me, but it kind of did. To have an outlet that wasn't TV, that wasn't drinking. Even though you start out doing 3 to 5 minute sets, the work you do before the set and the anxiety before you get on stage, and then the rush of someone actually laughing and then going home and listening to your set and reworking a joke, I was like, this is dope. Everything was so solemn that you needed to go somewhere you could get away from it all. And so there were some comedians who definitely had jokes about 9/11. A lot of them were met with groans. A lot of them were really funny. Everybody was just trying to process. And did you ever wonder why Jerry Seinfeld never bought the Mets? He spoke to 60 Minutes. His answer, I don't have the money. 60 Minutes was like, would you if you did? No, absolutely not. Why? Why? So I could have more people yelling at me on the street when they lose? The ultimate peak experience of a baseball game is a seat, a hot dog, and a beer. There's nothing above that. And that is your daily comedy news for today. You can follow the show on Spotify, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, wherever you get your shows. I'm Johnny Mac. I'll see you tomorrow.